let's just get right to it today. We've been working on this interior for a little while now, even though technically we're not ready to do that. We just wanted to have some fun. Before we move on to something else that we should be working on, like this, I'd like to see some sort of big payoff for what we've been doing. So today we're gonna wrap all these panels we've been working on in vinyl and suede. We're gonna make a speaker grill for the center here too. There's gonna be electronics back there, and we want some airflow to those. This is a speaker grill for a 10-inch sub. But you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut that smaller and we're gonna press a 6-inch circle out of this. So we gotta take all these panels apart. But before we do that, I wanna kind of figure out where we're gonna put this speaker grill. Probably make a mark here where this panel starts to roll over, about there. And then probably on the bottom of it where it starts to roll up. Then we can go from corner to corner twice. And that should be the center of our 6-inch hole. What'd I do with my compass? You'd think it'd be in this drawer here. Man, we don't need a compass. We got this. This is a 6-inch circle right here. Got a little bullseye in the middle too, so we know where that is. We can line that right up into our X. These panels fit real tight. We'll be wrapping them with vinyl. So we're gonna end up with 2 layers of vinyl in there. That's 1.5 millimeters. On the B pillars, we're gonna have a layer of this NVX sound deadening too. So we're gonna have to take that into consideration on the pillars. So if we take our 2 layers of vinyl and our sound deadening, we're looking at about 3.8 millimeters, 3.8 to 4. But this here paint stick, that's 3.8 millimeters. So we can take Mr. Paint Stick here and Mr. Pencil and trace along our panel with it. So now we have a pencil line that we can shave the end of this panel down to, and then that should make room for our sound deadening and our vinyl on the B pillar here. As far as these areas, those are going to be, what did we say the 2 layers of vinyl was? 1.5, which is the same as this backstrap material. So we'll just do the same thing here. Yeah, that'll work. I tell you, it sucks to make a whole interior, make all the panels and stuff, and then wrap them in vinyl, and then they don't fit. Done that. We have all these pieces fitting together like a puzzle. They all go in at a certain order, and they all hold each other in place. That way, we don't need any visible fasteners. No screws or nothing. Works pretty good, and definitely easier on the eyes. Visually appealing. Looks better. Before we shave those edges down, we're gonna have to take that apart and grab these. Because we're gonna have to figure out where it's gonna come up between these panels. So we'll just pop these couple panels off, bolt this retractor into the B pillar. It goes behind there, and then we'll see where it comes up here on its way to point B, and ultimately ending up down here at point C, somewhere in there. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to get these wrapped in vinyl. This retractor should go like this, but it's not going to fit like that with that subwoofer box. So I'm thinking about putting it on the inside there in that pillar in there, and I think that should work. That'll definitely give it room for the subwoofer box, obviously, but it ain't going to be easy. That's actually going to work out really well. I was worried about it rubbing on this brace here, but it's sitting in there pretty good. So we'll throw those panels back in real quick just so we can mark where that's coming through, and then we can put a little notch in it. All right, we can see where it's coming up here between the B pillar and our rear panels here now. We'll just mark that with our handy dandy pencil. Give it a little bit of breathing room on both sides. technically that should be both on the same side. I'm not even gonna bother measuring over there. Probably not the best idea, but here we go. We're just gonna copy it from this side to that side. We'll go down that far. And we'll give that just an extra bit of gap for the seat belt to go through and the vinyl to wrap around. All right, that is all shaved down, made room for the vinyl, we notched it out, making room for the seat belt. We'll set these two aside because, like I said, they all go together in a certain order. So we're gonna start with the first one that goes in, which will actually be those console side pieces. So let's get those out. No, the first thing that goes in is these subwoofer boxes. We're gonna wrap the face of these with that red suede. And I put this tape on here because of this little seam here, because I think our opening goes a little bit above it, and I wanna prevent any chance of that seam showing up underneath our suede. It really wouldn't, because we're gonna pull it tight and staple it along the edges as well, but just in case. But this is the glue I use. It's a contact adhesive, Landau top and trim, for professional use only. Sale to non-professional users is a violation of federal law. What the heck do they sell it to me for then? Just kidding, guys, nothing but professionalism around here. This is just a cheap paint gun that I got on Amazon. This works really well for that glue, and it really doesn't dry up as long as you leave glue in this cup. Unless it sits for a really long time, I guess. But whatever, it's super cheap. So setting this gun up, got our air control on the bottom, kind of for fine tuning. If we were painting with this, we'd have a regulator on it as well. But I just hook it right up to the compressor for glue. This knob here, that's to control how much product is sprayed through it. And this top one, that's gonna adjust our spray pattern. We don't need to be too picky how this is set up, but we don't want it to shoot out in big globs either. We're gonna try to keep it thin. Spray both sides. Now this is a contact adhesive, so we're gonna actually let that dry on both sides. Mostly dry, tacky. While we're waiting for that, I'm gonna look for a tool, because I want to press that suede down into the subwoofer opening. I made this a long time ago. It's just a flat blade screwdriver, and I rounded it over, made it all smooth. It works great for pressing the upholstery into tight areas like that. What I'm gonna do is try to leave a little extra material in the middle in that subwoofer opening, make it easier to press that down in there and look nice. I'm just doing a bunch of relief cuts, kind of sneaking up to the opening. The subwoofer is going to cover most of it up, but we want to make sure what you can see looks real nice. Now around the back side, or where it's covered up by that other panel, we're gonna put some staples in it. Looks pretty good, I'd say. Since we have the suede out, I think we're gonna do the other two pieces that are gonna be suede first. Then we'll get to these side panels and those rear panels. We got to cut this hole and press a grill too. Start with this armrest. We're gonna have to take this ABS plastic off the bottom of it. Set that aside. Rip this swirl velvet off. I like this stuff. I was gonna use it as an accent color in here, but I just don't think it works. Not in this one. So I made this armrest here by making a shape with some round rod, tacking a piece of sheet metal to it, scoring the back of a piece of plywood, bending it in the shape, gluing it on, screwing it on. And that's how I got the contour, the shape, and the rounded bottom. It's a nice straight cut. When I'm wrapping this around, I'm going to start with the corners and then work my way around. So I want to get them pulled into the middle section as much as possible. For the bottom here, I made this piece of ABS plastic in the shape and contour that fits right inside there. And that makes it real nice when you open up the armrest and it's finished off in there as well. Sweet. Nice suede armrest. We'll have to put a hinge on it. We'll hinge up. Nice and finished. This thing, I first took a piece of sheet metal and bent it in the contour that the counsel's in. Bought a wireless phone charger, took it all apart, took the actual workings of it, and cut that into a piece of ABS plastic. So what I have here is a wireless phone charger on the center console. So how this mounts to the console is with magnets. Goes up from underneath the console and then sticks to the bottom of it. So these are cup magnets, but it's basically a cup and it's got a hole in it. So we can take a machine screw and put it through there, and the head of the screw is below the magnet so it doesn't get in the way. Then that'll just plug in somewhere behind the dash with this USB and it'll charge my phone. I should get a bunch of Scotch Guard. I can see those getting dirty. Anyway, with those suede pieces done, we can move on to these console side panels. Just go grab the vinyl. This water trap and filter assembly here that we put on this air compressor, the water trap and the filter, they work great. But this one that had these beads in it, those beads ended up in my airline and in all my tools. So if you do that, my suggestion is don't put those beads in there. I dumped them all out. But I have a hard time getting this coupler on, so I'm gonna have to get a new one of those because of those stupid beads. There we go. So in here, we're gonna have to be ready with our razor blade because we're gonna need to be doing some relief cuts in here. Shouldn't have to get the heat gun out, but maybe I will just in case. Because this has to look real nice all the way over this lip. All right, since we got this inside corner pretty good, as we work our way to this other one, we're gonna kind of stretch the vinyl that way. So by the time we get there, we have some extra material. Then we don't have to stretch it as hard. This outside corner, I'm gonna cut it kind of funky. Gave it a relief cut this way, one that way, so we could take the corner, pull that. All right, we got this one all wrapped. We're gonna go along the back side with some staples. They don't have to find our mounting holes. Here's one. All right, we got that one done, set aside. Do the other one. We can move on with that speaker grill thing. And that'll be a first for me. I've never pressed a grill like that, but I got an idea. If it doesn't work, yeah, whatever, we'll figure something else out. All right, what's next? B-pillars, I'd say. We got this vinyl around the edges cut in a way that I'll be able to wrap this really nicely, including the paper on my table. Making our way through it. Well, this right here sucks. The vinyl's too short to lay it out like this. So we're gonna have to lay it out the other way. And that's just gonna take up more material than I wanted. Oh, wait, no it's not. This whole section right here in the middle is behind that other panel. You're not gonna see it. So that means I could do this in two pieces. This is gonna be cool to see. Oh man. All right, on to this last one. Start by cutting out this hole. Then we'll figure out how the heck we're gonna do this. A 6-inch hole saw would have been great for that, but I don't have one. Not anymore. Cutting holes in boats for 6.5-inch speakers, they dull those things up real quick. I gotta say though, that turned out pretty good. It's actually round, like really round. So I think a good idea for now is to wrap this with the vinyl and then trace that hole. Because obviously the hole is gonna be smaller when it's got vinyl in it. Then we'll move on with that speaker grill. So I'm pressing this vinyl down, kind of walking it towards this part, because we're going to want it to sit nicely in there. Liking it so far. We'll just cut this hole out, wrap that, and then this piece besides the grill will be done. Looking good, looking good. I like it. So that grill, 0.7 millimeters. This jigsaw blade, 1.2. So if I cut this circle out right on the line, or even a little bit inside of it, that should give us a gap between the circle we cut out and this one. So here's what I'm thinking. Piece of wood. Wood with a hole in it. Grill. Round piece of wood. We're gonna have to use the press. Hey! This looks like kind of a mess, but it also looks like it may have worked. I do believe it did work. We'll just trim all that excess off with old Yeller. Bifocal safety glasses. Regular readers. Regular readers. Making me kind of dizzy. We need just a little bit of fine tuning in some spots. Holy smokes, that worked really well. I'm excited about that. Super excited to get it in the truck. Even though all this is gonna have to come back out and get hidden in the bedroom for who knows how many months. But that's okay. Oh man, I am happy with that. That is the big payoff I wanted. I'm pretty proud of that. What do you guys think? Now we can take it all back apart, throw it in the office until we're ready to put it in permanently. I hate doing that because it looks great and it feels like we're going backwards when we take it all apart and then hide it. But we got some more fabrication work to do on this, and we want to protect that. We got YouTube channel memberships, Patreon, and LT's Custom Garage for all the good stuff. Here's a whole playlist of how this happened. See you out there.